On July 2, 1937, the most famous female pilot in the world climbed into her twin-engine aircraft on a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. Her name was Amelia Earhart. She had already done what no woman had ever done, flown solo across the Atlantic Ocean. She was an international celebrity. A household name. An icon of courage. Now she was attempting something even more ambitious, to become the first woman to fly around the entire world. She had just one major leg left. A 2,500-mile flight across open ocean to a tiny speck of land called Howland Island. She took off at 10 a.m. At 8:43 that morning, her last confirmed radio transmission was received by a U.S. Coast Guard ship. "We are running north and south." And then, nothing. No wreckage was ever found. No confirmed remains were ever identified. No definitive answer has ever been proven. The most extensive search and rescue operation in American history at that time, involving the U.S. Navy, dozens of ships, and aircraft, found absolutely nothing. Amelia Earhart, one of the most famous people on Earth, simply vanished. This is one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. To understand why her disappearance shocked the entire world, you need to understand who she was. Amelia Earhart was born in Kansas in 1897. From a young age, she was drawn to adventure in a way that defied the expectations placed on women of her era. In 1928, she became the first woman to cross the Atlantic Ocean by air, though as a passenger, not a pilot. The flight made her instantly famous. But Earhart wanted more than fame. She wanted to prove herself as a pilot in her own right. In 1932, she did exactly that, becoming the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, matching the feat of Charles Lindbergh 5 years earlier. She set numerous aviation records throughout the 1930s. She became a best-selling author. A fashion icon. A spokesperson for women's independence at a time when such a thing was almost unthinkable. By 1937, at 39 years old, she set her sights on an unprecedented challenge, flying around the entire globe at its widest point, roughly 29,000 miles. Her aircraft was a Lockheed Electra 10E, specially modified with extra fuel tanks for the long ocean crossings. Her navigator was Fred Noonan, an experienced aviator who had helped chart Pan Am's transpacific routes. The journey began in Oakland, California, in May 1937. By late June, after flying across South America, Africa, and Asia, they had completed all but the final, most dangerous leg, crossing the vast Pacific Ocean. On July 2, 1937, Earhart and Noonan took off from New Guinea. Their destination, Howland Island, a tiny, flat strip of land in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, just 1.5 miles long. To put this in perspective, they were attempting to find an island smaller than most city parks, after flying over 2,500 miles of open ocean, with only basic 1930s navigation technology. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca was stationed near Howland Island specifically to help guide them in using radio communication. But almost immediately, there were problems. Radio communication between Earhart's plane and the Itasca was inconsistent. Earhart could apparently hear some transmissions, but the ship struggled to get clear readings from her. As the hours passed, her transmissions grew increasingly tense. At 7:42 a.m., she radioed, "We must be on you but cannot see you. Gas is running low." At 7:58 a.m., "We are circling but cannot hear you." At 8:43 a.m., her final confirmed transmission, "We are running north and south." And then the radio went silent. The Itasca and nearby ships waited. Nothing more came through. By the time it became clear something had gone catastrophically wrong, the U.S. Navy launched what was, at the time, the largest and most expensive search operation in American history. Battleships. Aircraft carriers. Search planes. Over $4 million spent. An enormous sum in 1937. After 16 days of searching across hundreds of thousands of square miles of ocean, the search was called off. No wreckage. No bodies. No definitive trace. Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan were declared lost at sea. For nearly 90 years, researchers, historians, and adventurers have proposed numerous theories about what really happened. Theory 1, she crashed and sank, the official explanation. The most widely accepted theory is also the simplest. Running low on fuel and unable to locate Howland Island, Earhart and Noonan likely ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean, sinking quickly in deep water. The Pacific Ocean near Howland Island reaches depths of over 18,000 feet in some areas, making wreckage recovery extraordinarily difficult, even with modern technology. Several expeditions using sonar and underwater drones have searched the ocean floor in this region, including a notable 2017 expedition. No confirmed wreckage has ever been found. Theory 2, she landed on Nikumaroro Island and survived as a castaway. This is the leading alternative theory, championed by the organization TIRE, the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery. Nikumaroro is a remote, uninhabited atoll about 350 miles southeast of Howland Island. In 1940, British colonial officials discovered a partial human skeleton on the island, along with what appeared to be a woman's shoe and a sextant box. A navigation tool similar to what Noonan would have used. The bones were later lost, but a 2018 forensic analysis of the original measurements concluded they were, more likely than not, female and consistent with Earhart's known body measurements. Radio operators across the Pacific reported receiving over 100 distress signals in the days following her disappearance. Some experts believe several of these signals were credible and consistent with a plane down near Nikumaroro, with Earhart possibly alive and transmitting for several days before her plane was swept into the ocean by rising tides. Theory 3, she was captured by the Japanese. This theory suggests Earhart and Noonan drifted off course into Japanese-controlled territory in the Pacific, were captured as suspected American spies, and died in Japanese custody. Some witnesses in the Marshall Islands later claimed to have seen a white woman and a plane wreckage matching Earhart's description in the late 1930s. This theory gained popularity for decades but lacks definitive physical evidence. Most mainstream historians consider it unlikely, though it remains a popular theory in some Pacific Island oral histories. Theory 4, she survived and secretly returned to America. A more unusual theory suggests Earhart survived, was repatriated secretly by the U.S. government, possibly due to her flight being a covert intelligence mission, and lived out her life under a new identity. A 1970 book claimed a New Jersey woman named Irene Bolam was actually Amelia Earhart living in secret. Bolam vehemently denied this and even sued the publisher. The theory has been thoroughly debunked but remains a popular piece of Earhart mythology. Even today, in the 2020s, expeditions continue to search for definitive answers. In 2024, a deep-sea exploration company announced sonar images of what appeared to be an aircraft-shaped object on the ocean floor near Howland Island. The discovery generated massive global media attention. Subsequent analysis determined the object was likely a natural rock formation, not Earhart's plane. The search continues. The Nikumaroro theory remains the most actively investigated, with TIRE conducting multiple expeditions to the island over the decades, finding artifacts consistent with 1930s American manufacturing, though nothing has been definitively proven to belong to Earhart or Noonan. What we know for certain, Amelia Earhart took off on July 2, 1937, attempting one of the most dangerous flights of her era. She never arrived. No confirmed wreckage has ever been located. No remains have ever been definitively identified. Amelia Earhart wasn't just a pilot. She was a symbol, proof that women could achieve anything men could, in an era that told them otherwise. Her disappearance only amplified her legend. She became not just a celebrated aviator, but one of history's most enduring mysteries. Nearly 90 years later, we still don't know what happened in those final hours over the Pacific Ocean. Did she sink with her plane in 18,000 feet of water? Did she survive for days on a remote island, watching the horizon for rescue that never came? Did she become a prisoner in a foreign land, her fate hidden by the chaos of approaching war? We may never know for certain. What do you think really happened to Amelia Earhart? Let me know your theory in the comments below. If you're new here, check out our previous investigations into the Roanoke colony, the Dyatlov Pass incident, and the Mary Celeste. 3 more mysteries that have never been solved. Links on your screen. Subscribe to Lost Chronicles. We uncover history's greatest mysteries every single week.